Hello, it's Tom again. It's been a little bit over a week, and I was working on some things and then got really sick, and all of last week was a complete wash. I'll spare you the gory details, and we'll just say, hey, I'm better now. Um, so to kick things back off, we're going to start with some boring law type stuff. Later on this week, I hope to put out some more DIY stuff. I have a broken carburetor that needs fixing, and that should be kind of interesting if you're into like repairing things on two-stroke engines like lawnmowers, snowblowers, that sort of deal. But okay, we're just getting back into the swing of things, and of course, we're going to do something nice and simple like RICO. So, as people are aware, there's a major RICO case going on, and I'm not at all interested right now in discussing who did what, why this person should be guilty or not guilty, because none of that's relevant. My opinion on it's not relevant. Neither is yours for the most part. This is what's relevant at this point is who's going to cooperate, who's going to fight the charges, and the opinion of the jury once all evidence has been presented. That's the only opinion that matters in the end, the jury. Um, so, what is RICO and why is RICO? RICO is a law, or at this point, many laws, because most states have one, or I assume most states, many states have a RICO law, and there's the federal government RICO law. And we can only really discuss it in general terms because one jurisdiction might not match RICO in another jurisdiction, not perfectly anyway. But in general, the gist of RICO is if you are a party to a criminal conspiracy, under RICO you are culpable for all of the crimes committed under that conspiracy, even if you weren't aware of all of the crimes under that conspiracy. And that can change with some variation, depending on jurisdiction. But basically, you had a hand in the crime. You knew you were doing something criminal. And even if you didn't know all of the crimes taking place, you were a part of that conspiracy, and so you are a part of those crimes. Um, at least that's the operating theory of the law. Uh, so, why does it exist? We'll put ourselves in the shoes of a member of a criminal organization. Uh, Now, your name is Joey Bag of Donuts, and you're a nobody. You're not an enforcer or a drug dealer or anything. You're just a courier, and you stay out of the rest of it. You're not in for hard time. You're not in for serious crimes. You're just a delivery boy. Your job on weekends is to drive a car from a parking garage in Atlantic City to a parking garage in Newark, and then take the train back. And then you get paid. Don't ask what's in the car. Don't ask what's in the van. Don't look. Just deliver it the way you're told and keep your mouth shut. And, one day you get pulled over. They find you're moving stolen merchandise in the vehicle. You keep your mouth shut like you're supposed to. And your boss's lawyer shows up and basically you plead guilty to a single misdemeanor count of possession of stolen property. You do like less than 3 months in county, no serious prison time, no hard time. And when you get out, your boss, we'll call him Johnny Prosciutto, he pats you on the back and says, "Good job, way to keep your mouth shut. Here's a fat bonus. We're keeping you because you can shut up." Um, Now let's change the circumstances a bit. And again, you generally don't know what it is you're moving, or even who's picking it up. You're just leaving it in a parking garage. Um, Johnny Prosciutto, he's apparently, not. This is more of a side gig of his, and he's supplying materials to the Thug Riders MC, which is a biker gang, and clearly not mafia, but hey, just there's money to be made. They'll do deals. They stay out of each other's turf and out of each other's hair, and they have a cordial relationship. So Thug Riders are in a territory dispute with the pagans. There's violence happening. The police are not really having a whole lot of hits. And then one week, suddenly there's like a massive explosion of fentanyl overdoses in Newark. Uh, they trace it back to the Thug Riders. They trace it back to the van that they got the dope out of, and there's a picture of you driving that van into the parking garage. You just moved fentanyl into Newark. Um, they don't arrest you right away or even question you, maybe. They know you work for um, Johnny Prosciutto. And I'm like, okay, so we now have pagans, we have thug riders, and now we have mobsters. And now suddenly they're not even interested in you, really. They're not looking to make you serve time. They don't even want your boss. They want your boss's boss. But they've got a bunch of fentanyl overdoses with product you moved. And maybe six of these people died in the ER. So, okay, you were trafficking narcotics, um, distributing narcotics to the gangs. You have a bunch of potentially involuntary manslaughter or homicide charges on top of that, even though you're not the drug dealer. And during that territory war, somebody got shot with a gun that, hey, they can prove you moved up there in your van too. So now you're also part of an actual homicide. And you didn't sign up for this. You would do 2 months or 3 months in county, but you're looking at like 20 years in prison. Or you can plead to one felony count, or maybe even less, and you turn state's evidence. What are you going to do? You're not a hardened criminal. You're not going to survive in prison. You're going to turn in the other criminals around you. Because let's face it, you're a nobody. You're the help. They don't even see you in the room when the important people, when the somebodies are talking, and you're standing there. They don't even see you there. So you have information, and they just got to corroborate that information. You know where the bodies are buried? Oh, well, you tell the feds where the bodies are buried. They go dig them up. They just corroborated this is true. And now they've got your boss and your boss's boss. And now they're taking out the real criminals. I mean, you're a real criminal too in this scenario, but I mean, we're talking about people in a different league. So this is what's happening right now. Although it's not so much mobsters and gangsters. Um, this is more of the white collar that we're seeing on the news, the white collar version of a RICO case, where you got people who couldn't even survive, a year in Club Fed, in a minimum security prison where everybody else is a white collar criminal and no one's worried about getting stabbed with a toothbrush. These people are that soft. So yeah, the help, they're the ones who probably cooperated before the charges were filed. And now you got people higher up in the chain of command, closer and closer to the leadership, because the help turned on them. And now these people, whether you believe they should get a sweetheart deal or not, they're getting it, because in the grand scheme of things, for the most part, they're still nobodies. They're criminals, maybe. If they've pled guilty, they are a criminal. Like, you can argue it, but they have voluntarily stated in court that, yeah, they are one of the criminals. And so now they're doing this and they're giving up the people above them. That's how and why RICO exists. It's something I can get behind because it's taking out the little guys just never actually fixes anything. When it comes to serious problems, you gotta actually go where the problems start, and that's the leadership. So there you go. That's my explanation of RICO and what is going on.